Hey guys, welcome back to Off the Record, where we talk about
whatever we want.
Baby, we got Dante back.
Hey. And speaking of off the record, so like before we rolled the cameras, it's crazy how like all of us as like millennials, we have a shared childhood.
I'm a Gen Xer, by the way.
You are?
He is.
Yeah.
But you know, you are a part of the millennial childhood.
Yeah.
You're one of us.
Because the millennials were watching like the Gen Z know you as Zuko, right? But then like millennials know you as Rufio, right? But like, so like past Gen Z, and then now that you see like mega stars was probably our generation, like Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, whatever, where like the whole United States knew like this pop culture, and it was one pop culture.
Yeah.
But now I feel like there's hella different pockets of culture.
Yeah.
So like there's like kids that are like hella into K-pop, and then they know all about this, or anime, or like YouTubers, and then there's like little empires like people that are like fans of Logan Paul or whatever, right?
It's the
But
internet.
not everybody-
Internet changed the world, because before the internet, it was just the big businesses and studios and stuff feeding us, and the record companies going, this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is the new hot shit.
This is your new hot
They
shit.
don't have a shared thing, maybe like playing Minecraft or like something, but they don't have like a shared, everybody knows this one person of this new generation.
Kim Kardashian.
No, you might know certain things, but you might not even know. Like, you can hear Kim Kardashian. It's like Pokemon. Like, I know Pokemon, but do you know all the cards?
Do you think that's
no.
part of the reason why we're so separated? Like, you know,
think so.
because back in the day, regardless if we had views that we agree with each other, we could be completely opposite politically, religiously, whatever, right?
But we all saw Hook.
Yes. And then we all saw, or like, you know, Michael Jordan is just the greatest, no matter what. But in this day and age, it's not only do we have different opinions on things, I have a different Michael Jordan than you do. So everything is different. So there's no.
That's a good point.
No spine that ties the whole country together.
Yeah, because back
Or
in
the whole
day,
world.
The whole world, yeah.
The whole world.
Then back in the day, it was like just the movie industry. You had to go to the theater to actually see the movies, or sometimes get the VHS or whatever. But also, like in the radio, like that's how we all got our music,
Yeah.
was from the radio. But now it's like streaming. Everyone is
I'll
an
tell you how
artist.
crazy it was back in the day. It was like, so we did a lot of breakdancing competitions in the 80s around the Bay Area. And so when you go to breakdance competitions, we would do our routines, but there were some competitions, and it happened a lot all over town. There were Michael Jackson competitions and Madonna competitions. Meaning people people dressed up like Prince, Michael Jackson, Madonna. No one's dressing up as
Logan Paul.
Bieber or Logan Paul. No one's dressed. There's no personality where like, not even Lady Gaga. Like, you don't see people like dress up like Lady Gaga. Yeah. There were full-on competitions of who's doing the best Michael Jackson, the whole thing. And even if you weren't in the competition, you might have had you probably won the jacket. Everyone wanted that Beat It jacket, Thriller jacket. Yeah. Girls were walking around in lace. That's why they went to school. They're going to the mall that's full-on Madonna.
Like Madonna, yeah.
Like, no one's doing that shit.
Icons anymore. Like this generation, we're not really creating icons.
Everybody wants to be their own person.
But everyone's their own icon.
No, but like,
which is healthy.
It's cool. We all have a voice now.
Instead of like the industry creating icons, now it's the people creating their own icons, because it's
They're like small icons.
Yeah.
Because I think now it's like it's more customized to like small groups or whatever, right? Instead of like mega stars, like Michael Jackson. The whole world knows Michael Jackson, and it lasts for decades, right?
You don't even need to know pop or anything. Or basketball. Like, you don't even need to know basketball, you know who Michael Jordan is.
Totally.
Yeah, you could be like in a village in Thailand, and if Michael Jackson was still alive and he's like moonwalking, everyone would be like, oh my god, it's fucking Michael.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I don't know if we have that today.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, it's cool where that awkward kid that sits in their room and really loves this particular anime and like feels like no one in the world gets them, and they like go online and it's like, oh shit, this is a little community that loves this exact thing that I love, and these are my people.
Yeah, that's true.
That's kind of cool. Where
Yeah.
back in those days, that person's just fucked.
True.
I mean,
They're like, I don't
this
like
show,
Michael Jackson.
Like, just you're a loser.
Then you're done, and no one wants to talk to you. Go sit in the corner and fuck off.
The little elbow is extra, dude.
I mean, this show is exactly that, right? Like, we just wanted something different, and the media just sucked. But I feel like that's just now, and what's gonna be is people generated content.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what you guys did with Just Kidding Films, with creating your own skits, your own comedy skits, to showcase like a different perspective of the Asian American experience.
It was so big. I've talked about it with you guys and other cats like Tim and even like Ryan, Higgin, all them. It's like your generation did something that our generation didn't do. It's like, and it's just because of the big business. There was no Asians on TV. I was one of like 3 or 4 Asians that you saw in the 80s and 90s.
I could have said all the Asians back then with my hand. All right, we got you, we got Bobby, and before Bobby we have what's her name? The girl, the Margaret Cho.
John Cho.
No, but John Cho's new though.
John came like,
He's my generation.
No, he's like me and him at the same time. He came like right after.
What did he do?
He did.
Harold and Kumar is when I first saw him.
But that's our generation.
Pavilion of Women, bro.
Better Luck Tomorrow.
Better Luck Tomorrow, yeah.
But he's still a grown ass dude already.
Yeah, we're about the same age. And then but see, like,
I'm talking about the 90s.
But the crazy thing is, like, Jamie Chung was a little after. Yeah. But what happened online with you guys? You know, we're doing scripted characters, and you know the reality of scripted characters in Hollywood. Even characters we did, 99% of them in the history of Hollywood is written by white men. Yeah. Like perspectives of Asians or black people were by white men's perspectives. That's the thing.
But white guys love Asians.
They love Asians, but it's their perspective of who we are.
Yeah.
It's filtered through their lens. What y'all did online is just us being people.
Yeah.
And that's like whoa, hold on a second. These are just cats talking about what they think, like unfiltered. That doesn't fit any box in my mind of how Asians are supposed to act. When there's not really any rules, but you know, that's I think the magic would.
Yeah, that was the cool part, is everyone representing themselves and being able to tell our own story. Mm-hmm. I think that's why our community ate it up.
Or tell no story, just be.
Yeah, just be. That was fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Would you guys want to do that again?
Yeah, I still want to. Yeah, I mean,
like
still
bring back skits and all that.
I want to do like movies and stuff. I want to do something that's like not so fast. You know, I think things like TikTok and social media, I think it's really cool. People really get to relate real quickly. But like some of my favorite TikToks that I'm dying laughing for 5 minutes, I don't even remember what happened. You know,
And the shelf life is.
So like I want to make something that's like the equivalent of like a painting where you can hang it on the wall. You can look like, you know, Goodfellas.
That's a film, yeah.
If I'm going on through cable, anytime I see fucking Goodfellas pop up, I'm still like, ooh.
Should I watch it again?
Yeah, you know, should I watch it for the 1,000th time?
One more time!
But see, the way that you guys are, because you guys create these cool sketches and cool, funny things, it's about sewing those sketches together into make this film. That's you know, it's going to be a series of sketches within a big idea, which I think you guys done similar things in the past. It's just the work and time to do that again.
Yeah.
That's true.
I definitely want to though.
I don't know if the culture feels as one anymore. Like when we first did it, I really miss the back in the day YouTube Asian stuff, because it felt like it was like this, like we had events that we would all do shows together, and then everyone kind of knew each other. And then now,
And then everyone started fighting.
no, there was no fights. Everyone was cool like that. But the thing is, now we do have a lot of new creators that are Asian, but they're like in the beauty space, or you know, they might just be doing like rap battles or whatever, right? It's just gamers, whatever. But it's not one group like it used to be. And we all kind of know each other, but we don't do the shows anymore. There's no community.
Well, isn't that, I mean, minus the no community part, because that does suck, but isn't it kind of cool though that it's so many and like so spread out that it's like so like, oh shit, fuck yeah, like it's done. Like everyone's being represented and by so many different fields and by so many different faces, to the point where you don't really know each other?
Kind of and not really. Like there's a part of me that I'm like, oh, this is so dope. There's so many other creators, and I see like there's like Asian dudes in the NFL now. You know, it's just cool to see like all over the board people are being represented. But at the same time, so like in terms of like representation in media, at least from my perspective, it almost seems like white, black, Hispanic, and Asian, right? So we're like fourth in line. To still see like, let's say, an all black film come, and then the amount of support that gets, when we have like an all Asian, like not everyone was screaming about Parasite, and that's the closest thing that we have, or maybe Crazy Rich Asians. So for me, I'm like, if we're that far behind, we need to be that much louder. But for us, it's like, I guess we reached to this point where we are kind of like a little bit better represented, but arguably black people are way better represented, but they're still louder. So I'm like, where's our support in that regard, you know?
It's true, but also I say we have to make more. Because if you think about the amount of like black Americans have made in Hollywood, like music coming out all the time, films coming out, television. As Asians, that's why you guys have to make more stuff.
Create more content.
Because it's like the only way to even have a shot to make an impact is to make it. You know, and that's on all of us individually.
But for me, I don't really think about that part. I'm thinking more about the what kind of community and like thing that we used to have. Now it's just like small little groups everywhere, and it's hella disjointed. And then there's just different groups doing different things. It's fine and all, but like I miss the old school Asian like thing. And I feel like everybody that was watching too, all English speaking Asians all over the world, we went through the same like thing. Like I was just in the Czech Republic, and the kids there grew up watching our videos.
It's crazy.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is just, it's kind of like that small time mega icon thing, right? Where it's like, not a lot of people out there was doing the comedy that we did. And then there was this shared experience. Yeah.
It's still there. It's fascinating.
But that's what I mean, like, you know, the amount of noise that Obama gets, Andrew Yang got like maybe 1% of it. Yeah. You know, so I think for me that's where like.
But Asia's too quiet. We need to make more noise. Maybe we don't have to talk. We just gotta hit a drum or some shit. It's like
that's where the unity counts. You know, where it's like if we need to get behind ourselves way more.
Today's video is brought to you by Gabby. Okay, just imagine, you could save $961 a year on car insurance.
That'd be tight.
That'd be pretty dang amazing.
That's like $80 a month.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And actually with Gabby, this is super possible. I had to check for myself because I was like, yeah, right. This is another one of those, you're gonna save money, but then you end up paying way more money. But I checked for myself and I was able to compare, and the transparency is pretty awesome because they have major providers. It's not like these insurance companies that you've never heard of. Yeah. They got like, what, Nationwide, Progressive, you know, they have all these different major companies, and what they do is it's actually just a search engine where you input all of your information, and it's a search engine for insurance.
That's sick.
And then they compare it for you, and they get the best rates. And they can tip, they usually can't beat the rate that you have. Like for me, I was gonna save around 30 to 40 bucks a month.
So for me, once I close escrow in Vegas for sure, I'm gonna use this service, go to Gabby, and see what the best home insurance price is for my home in Vegas. So if this is something that you guys are looking for too, you can go ahead and sign up. There's no obligation, it's completely free. Go to gabby.com/offtherecord, that's GABI.com/offtherecord to just check to see if you are paying indeed the lowest rate possible. That's gabby.com/offtherecord. Thank you.
Well, you know what's really cool though is like seeing how the Asian community has banded together a lot, especially recently. I mean, it's tragic, but with the recent Asian attacks, like I've seen a lot of creators on my feed like speaking out and really banding together. So that's really tight.
Who is the loudest Asian out there? Like who?
Just kidding. I don't know.
Koreans.
I mean, but I'm talking specific person. Like, who do you think the loudest Asian? Not loud. Like.
And how do you define loud too? Like the biggest impact or actual verbally?
Verbal. Not, I mean, impact is great, but I'm talking like a personality that you can get behind. That's like that motherfucker. We're rolling with that dude.
Shit, that's hard.
A big voice, because we're not. Our culture's not really into.
Speaking.
It's more about that saving face and being cool. Like that's part of like universally about Asians. Like
I think
coming under the radar.
Culturally,
who's the one that's like, yo?
I think it goes against Western, like what works out here, because like Taoism and Zen Buddhism and stuff like that, it teaches you to go above that. And in the Western consciousness, they're at a different level right now. They're at a more let's communicate, let's fight, let's debate. And then Asian culture is more like, yo, life is way bigger than that.
Yeah.
But then it gets misinterpreted as pacifism, weakness.
Right.
It's like mistaking kindness for weakness, right? They don't get what's happening because they just don't think the same culturally. So then when we're like, man, you
Different
gotta be
metrics.
bigger than that. That's pointless. Don't waste your energy on doing eye for an eye shit or whatever.
You can't really get that support. Say if there's a Martin Luther King or a Malcolm X Asian dude. That's not like within our culture.
Closest was like
No, I don't
was
think
Bruce
so.
Lee. Like he was our
Bruce was
He's charismatic, you know. He wasn't even verbally loud. It's just his aura was loud.
right.
I think you're right about that. It's like there's an inherent like tendency to not want to be loud and not want to like.
If someone's being that loud, we're like, don't fuck with that dude.
Who's this guy blowing up the spot?
Like this dude's being too loud.
guy, like relax, bro.
You're only allowed to be loud when you're
party
at a restaurant or doing karaoke.
Karaoke.
But for instance, like a guy like Tim, right? He's probably a good example.
Tim is probably the loudest.
He's one of the guys that crosses over like the Asian YouTube space into like he's probably one of the only Asian guys that's on MTV.
Yeah, Wildin' Out.
And like he has a pretty big impact because I know Randall Park was on it, right? On Wild Now. Yeah. But I don't think he's gotten the reception that like Tim has gotten when he's on Wild Now. Because he's very popular. He has so many different TV shows on MTV. He has like 5 different shows, it seems like.
He transcends past the Asian community.
Yeah, and he just like a guy, right? And I think that's really cool.
Maybe one of the loudest personalities in Asian culture.
Yeah. But it's also not like cringy where it's like, oh, he's just always talking about Asian stuff all the time. He's just being him, and because he's just being him, everyone looks at him like a normal dude, but he's an Asian guy, so it's also really cool too. But he's probably one of the only guys I could think of that is transcending that.
What do you mean by loud? Like, because we got a lot of people that scream and shit.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true, but not really.
And I just want to be like, shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I was saying is like are you for me that's what I was asking, like how do you define loud? Is it someone that like made their own waves? Because someone that's like that is like Lucy Liu, right? Yeah. She is way up there, but so much to the point she's by herself, and I never seen her pull anyone else up.
Sandra Oh.
Yeah, or is loud the people that make waves across the board for other people.
Yeah, for other people.
So like there are people that have made it individually that are like way up there, but it doesn't seem like they're part of their community even.
Right.
I think I changed over the years too, because I used to heavily identify with my race to the point where I thought that was who I was. Mm-hmm. So what, and I see this with the younger generation too, like when we're trying to figure ourselves out, you know, we're so, also being Asian in America, you're trying to figure out, well, I'm not white, I'm not black, who am I, right? And then you're trying to research who you are culturally and all that stuff. And I feel like the Latinos don't go as much because it feels like there's so much, if they're Mexican, whatever, there's a lot of Mexican culture in LA.
Yeah.
So like it
I didn't
doesn't
even know
feel
I lived in a
foreign.
bubble.
Like it feels like this is your home, right?
We're all Mexican in LA.
but-
Whether
yeah.
you're Mexican or not, if you grew up in LA, you're
yeah.
half Mexican.
Yeah.
But when you're Asian, it's like you're in a different world, and then you're trying to wrap around like there is a huge contrast. And if you don't think about it, you don't know that if your parents are new immigrants, Asian immigrants or whatever immigrant, that house that you're living in, that's like an embassy. And you're growing up in a different culture.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to make sense of how to balance that out with America and this culture.
very
right?
true.
And then so like we all have to define what it means to be who we are, right? And I think in that process, it's like I am a Japanese American or whatever. People have this identity. But then once you go past that, you go, wait, I'm just a human being. Yeah. But you go past that and you're like, I'm just nothing, dude.
You code switching all over the place.
Joe just explained my whole childhood, yo. Yeah. Like
I feel like but that it can go dangerous when you it's kind of like saying this, like if you're like I'm a Christian, therefore like I'm this, right? So when you think about that and you're pushing shit for Asians and whatever, then it's like I think you're doing yourself a disservice by being so limited in the human experience. Yeah. But that's where I'm at, right? So I'm like, yeah, I got love for the culture and all that stuff, but that's not really who I am. I think I just have an experience.
It's not wholly who you are.
No.
It's just a part of who you are, but also as a leader, you know, in our successes in our lives and our careers and stuff, you become a leader in certain things where you can help broaden the voice of a certain community. Because if we don't do it, then we ain't gonna leave it up to just white guys to do it for us. Like that doesn't move them.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily ultimately encompass all of who you are. It's just going. I see there's a need there for that.
Yeah.
So like, I'm gonna open up something, a business for that to amplify that.
But then it's like okay, for Bruce Lee, for example, right? Some people see him as this like Asian American leader, whatever. I just see him as this badass human being that transcended past his obstacles.
Yeah.
Same with Michael Jordan, same with Michael Jackson, same with just everyone can be an inspiration to me, but maybe it's because I went past that stage of feeling like I have to see other people that look like me to give me confidence. Yeah. It's normal though, but I think that's human nature, right? You need people of your tribe to realize, oh shit, it's not just maybe black people that are great at athletics. Like, hey, Asians can actually be good too, but it's just we didn't focus on that as a culture. But when your mind is really like, I don't want to say like small because it sounds fucked up, but really like you believe the stereotypes.
Yeah.
Like I used to think, oh, Asians can't get buff because we're just genetically not able to, and then you go to the gym down here, and then there's hella buff Asian dudes.
My parents did tell us that.
Yeah, but a lot of
We're not meant to be strong.
that shit.
You know what my mom used to say? She goes, "Why are you stepping outside the house with no sweater? It'd be cold out." I'd be like, "What?" She's like, "You're not like the white or black."
That's what my mom used to say. So you're gonna catch a cold. You're not white.
Cole, you're not like the white kids or the black kids. Like our parents would say that.
Dude, it's ingrained in us from our own culture.
It's so crazy. And like low key, like what Joe was saying, I was like, oh fuck, that used to happen to me because until I started hanging out with David, I didn't really have that many Asian friends. Like I didn't grow up with a lot of Asian people.
Me neither.
He would say things and I'd be like, oh shit, like I guess that's an Asian thing or something like that. Or like you guys would say some things and I'd be like, oh fuck, I used to do the same shit too. And what your whole saying about all that's that identity growing up of like your house being an embassy and you going outside, I was like, oh fuck, that's so true. So you blew my mind right now, Joe.
Yeah.
But also like my grandparents were immigrants, so I was third generation.
Your parents were born
My
here?
parents don't speak, they speak English only, and so it's a different experience too where you're like, and we grew up in black and Mexican neighborhoods. But the thing about representation is like now, through our careers and things that we've done in this room and friends of ours, the door opens more and you know you're a bit part of it and you kind of help open it. Like now it's like, I just got called by a company to direct a film, and a kid's film, you know, to maybe like, can you come and talk to us about this kid's film with a Filipino star, all Asian cast? I'm like, what? That shit did not exist when I was in this industry at the beginning. So it's like little by little what we can do is, you know what I'm saying, like, you only can do what you can. Yeah. It's not your whole life, but it's like, it needs to be done, because then, and I'm sure you guys get it too, you guys go to colleges, you get fans in the street, and like, how do I do what you're doing?
Yeah. Well, what I want to help people do though is,
I don't know. You're trying to figure out how can you do this. You know what I'm saying? Let me figure this out.
Because for me, I think it's necessary for humans to see someone that looks like them doing the same thing, because we learn by copying.
Depending on the human. I don't think you needed it. You needed it. I didn't need it.
No, that's what I'm saying. But then, like, it's a part of confidence building. Like, for example, when I was, like I said, going back to thinking that Asians can't be athletic, that is a stereotype that I put upon myself. No one really said it. Maybe the old folks, and they're fucking stupid because they make up shit in their mind all the time. But like, no white person told me that Asians can't be strong. No one told me that. But people are blaming white people for certain things, but I think that's also wrong. Sometimes you create things in your own mind, or sometimes older people of your culture are telling you stupid shit and you believe it. So there's many different ways how we frame a thought. That's why it's important to have representation where we create and we have these inspiring stories. But I think it's very important to move past that as fast as possible. We have to go like, it's not just an Asian thing, or it's not just Asian people that inspire me. It's like, we gotta go beyond that and go, hey dude, we all sharing this human experience, and who can inspire to transcend past whatever.
What's the crazy thing is, like, we didn't really grow up with a lot of race in the house. I mean, we knew we were Filipino, but kind of not really, you know what I'm saying? And so when you got to Hollywood at 10, I never thought about any Asian anything, nothing. You're just here trying, and I was a break dancer. Everything was like a battle. Breakdancing in the streets, so every audition was like a battle, just go in and win. that's all we did, and it worked for me through my whole young career. But I think for a lot of people of color, like, when was the moment that you realized you weren't white in America?
Until I started hanging out with him.
What was it?
I was born into it. My dad was like the white man. Like I was just like, I was born into that ideology. Like,
So you thought you were white, or you?
no. Like that I wasn't white, and there's something to measure up to.
You knew that
innately. Just innately, there's something to measure up to, and there's always like a chip on your shoulder growing up. And that's just how I grew up.
No, I was in 6th grade and in Cerritos. I was going to school at Cerritos, and my neighbor.
What school you go to in 6th grade?
I was at that time. I was at was it Miller, George E. Miller,
Miller.
or 5th grade? It's 5th grade because I went to Tetzlaff.
Oh, you went to Tesla? Okay.
Yeah, I went to Tetzlaff. But so my neighbor behind me, I was like walking home from school, Steve Myers, and he's white, and there was something that happened. I was like, oh, you're white. I'm not. Like, it just was like an experience where the first moment you found out you're kind of a person of color, like 5th grade, where I was like, because until then, it doesn't really matter. You're just friends. Like, you don't really think of race.
I genuinely lived my entire life up until dating him. Like,
You grew up in Mexico.
yeah,
Like,
I didn't
Oh,
know.
you were that. You don't. Oh, you grew up in Mexico?
no. Like Paramount.
Thank God.
Downey.
Oh, Paramount. Well, I grew up.
Yeah,
I'm from Paramount too.
We're neighbors.
Yeah, I went from Cerritos to
But
Paramount.
they're like 80% Mexican.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
I did have like I had like Asian friends, black friends, white friends, and
Right.
But they're the majority. It's
So
different.
white people. There was like 10 white people on campus.
yeah, but I never noticed
I actually
it.
don't feel like it's not necessarily about growing up white or Asian or black or Hispanic. It's kind of like, are you a majority or a minority in the area you grew up in? Because I think the example at Tiff is, it's like, she's Hispanic, but she grew up as a majority, so you didn't really.
I was not aware
experience
of
being a
racial
minority.
I'm with you.
differences.
I don't have enough of my type in this area and feeling like left out.
Yeah, that's why not until I started dating you and I was only around Asians, I was like, whoa, I've never felt this in my
I was
whole
reverse
life.
of yours, because like my experience was I was surrounded by white people for most of my life, and then moving here and getting in with JK, I was like, now I'm surrounded by Asians, and like being in Monterey Park, and I was like,
crazy.
this is fucking wild.
Well, going to Paramount High, being so many Mexicans would trip me out. You watch TV, right? And there's like all these roles, the classic roles, the smart girls, the cheerleaders, the nerds, everything, the tough guys, tough girls, but they're all white on TV.
Yeah.
But in Paramount, they're all Mexican. They're like, and you're like, fuck, they never show. Like, that's the same. She's the
Yeah.
But they never showed the Mexican smart person and the Mexican cheerleader and the. But it's like all there. But that's how you know, like, TV's from a different filter that's not really filtering. And the same thing in Cerritos. When we were in Cerritos, it's like it's the same, all the same characters. They're just all Asian.
multicultural.
Or multicultural, and you're going, Paramount, it's just all it's like you're watching any TV show, they're just Mexican.
Yeah, that's why it never clicked to me that it was different.
Right.
I don't know.